Buddy the dog, why are you running away? I tell you, you do strange things. He's in the zone, and he's not interested in whatever I got to say. But I'll tell you one thing, I've had to throw away like 2 or 3 videos because they're just not presentable. Because I hate winter, and when it's like this, below freezing and snow, I just cannot be, I can't do this. I'm very angry right away when I walk outside. And so it's just not been a pleasant time. So anyway, today we're going to revisit some, which I know you love when I revisit the same topic 15 times, but I got some stuff. Ooh, 3 more ground rods. And another thing, fresh from the deer store. Ooh, why did I do that? Well, I guess I'll talk about it right after this. All right, welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. Poor little Freddy got caught out in the snow, as did most of my stuff. I have not got put away for the winter. And it's just very sad and disappointing. And I'm over it. I hate winter. But, fencer topic. We got this working fairly decently. However, I'm still not convinced that it's really doing much better job than the one was before, you know, when it was at its peak. And so I've learned some stuff. Now, the first thing is, everybody and his neighbors, oh, you need to get one of those fence testers, and you need to know the voltage, and you need to, no, you don't need to spend $100 or $200 on that. No, because these things, the voltage is not what does the job. The joules is what does the job. It's kind of like when they say voltage won't kill you, it's the amps that kill you. And so for one, you can kind of tell if you've been around electricity enough, and it doesn't probably come through on camera very good, but you can tell a hot spark by how far it'll jump the gap and the color and the sound. And I can't get that through on camera very good, but that's a fairly hot spark. It's about like what it was back before, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot better than what we had when it wasn't working, which it also sparked, but it was just kind of a lazy orange spark and didn't really have that snap to it. So, revisiting this, I have watched probably 10,000 videos on fence chargers. I've watched videos of that fence fixer guy taking them apart so I could see how the different ones were made. And like I said, his words were ringing in my ear that said, you need to take this one back and get you a good one, because they're just not made anymore very good. And he's right on the fact that I don't think it's this one, which was twice the price, is not performing at a level that would make me think, oh my goodness, it was well worth the money. It's doing about like the other one was. It was $229. Now, partially that is my fault, I think, because of the setup that I have here, which is what we're going to remedy. And so I have, through all this reading and research, I decided on, I wanted a Cyclops brand because they're made in USA. And several people comment on the videos that they had one and they liked it. And I reached out to several of them to see what model they had and, you know, what size it was and how long they had it. And so, yeah. So I finally decided on I I don't remember what model they called it. It's the second from the biggest one. The biggest one they had, when I watched videos on those, they cooked a potato with it. And I think it's the one that they keep elephants in at the zoo with. And so I thought about that, but it was $800. And I got to thinking, you know, I don't think that's what I want, because I would just be wasting, how am I trying to say? You could actually, in that case, be getting too big where you're going to wear out the fencer, because it doesn't, well, now I can't even get the website to pull up. It doesn't have a way to get rid of the amount of electricity you're putting through if you don't have enough fence. And like I said before, if you had a single wire like this, that's what they're figuring out of the box, the distance. Well, I hope that footage is usable, because the camera does not like the cold either, and it's acting up. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I'm trying to find the list, because I don't remember what the number was of the one I got. Okay, here we go. So a lot of people said that what they had was like the Cyclops Brute, which is 8 joule and 10 stored joules. That one would have been comparable to the one I just replaced, because the one I just replaced, some of these companies rate it by miles, which is confusing, because like I said, they base it on one single strand around your place and not multiple strands of stuff. So you got to figure that in. But the one I had, I think, was rated 120 miles. I've got it boxed up to send to the fence fixer guy. I'm going to do that. And another one that I found we had before, see if he can make them work for spares. But at any rate, I'm getting ADD again and switching things. So the last one was 120 miles. I think it was 6.7 output joules and 10 stored joules. So that would be very close to this Cyclops Brute, which was 10 stored joules and 8 output joules. That would have been a direct replacement for the one I just had. So that was 6.7 and 10. This one is 15 output and 20 stored. And basically, the way I understand why they do it this way, right here at the fencer, you would have 20, but because of all kinds of loss and things you have along the way, you end up with 15 at the fence. And that's just the way, just like in your car. Your engine can be 1,000 horsepower, but at the rear wheels, you probably only have 800, because you lose a bunch through the transmission and the drive line and all that. So that's what's going on there. So what to do? I ended up buying the Cyclops Master, and I got a cheaper price because it was on sale on the, not even cheaper than this. This says $698, and I got it for right at 600, I think, 590 something. And I thought that was, I'm willing to spend that to see if it works, because based on what I've seen, it is going to put out a lot more than what I got. You figure it's got 27 stored joules and 20 output joules. So basically I'd be getting this at the fence. And if you think about that, that is a big jump up from what I just had, because I had 6.7 and 10 stored, and now I'm going to have 27 stored and 20 out. So we jumped up essentially from 6.7 to 20, and that's a pretty big jump, and I think it's going to be what I want. Like I said, I like that it's made in the USA. I got it very much on sale, and if I can take this one back, which I don't like to do, but they have a guarantee. If you're not satisfied in 30 days, you know, you can bring it back. And I don't think I'm really satisfied. I'm not sold on this quality of this. I think it's gone downhill a little bit, and I don't think it's doing that much better job. So anyway, the Cyclops one, when it gets here, we'll go through all that. But what I like about it It's got fuses for lightning protection, so you can swap that out if that's an issue. I never really had that problem, I don't think, on the last one, because it never tripped that surge storm guard thing. But another thing about it, the light on that one, some of these lights are just nonsense lights. They don't really tell you much. But on that other one, as I understand it, it will flash until it gets below 3,000 volts, and then you really know you got a problem. And it can power through a lot of stuff. So I'm satisfied. We'll see when it gets here. Maybe I'll change my tune and regret it and end up going back to the store and buying one of these again, but I don't think I will. So another thing I liked about the Cyclops thing, their website finally had some stuff that explained why it is. And they had a neat little calculator where you could punch in how many miles of fence you had. You put in how many strands, and then of course it would multiply that first number you put in by the number of strands, because it's cutting it effectively. And then it would tell you which one you needed. And so, yeah, that's something that was handy to use if you weren't sure. But they finally had a description thing that explained why the ground rods, how many. You know, I've always heard, well, you need 3 ground rods to make the fence really hot. Well, yeah, you see on every picture for the ones you see 3 ground rods in the picture. And then guy said, you know, you add more and it gets hotter. Well, I didn't really understand why or how many before you're just wasting money putting in ground rods. But the Cyclops people had a formula, and it said for every 4 joules you need a ground rod, and then you need 1 ground rod for the unit. So if you look at the one I had before, it was 6.7 output joules. Let's just say the 10 stored joules, let's go by that. So you would need 4, 8, and then basically 10, you'd need a third one. It would be 12. That'd be like 4, 8, 12. But it was 10. So you'd need 3 plus 1 for the unit, which would be 4. And I only had 2 because Grandpa only had 1. And then I added another one, and I never got that third one added till the other day. So even with what I just did, I would still not have enough technically for that other one going by this rule. You need 4. This one, 20 stored joules, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. That'd be 5 plus 1 for the fencer would be 6. So you'd need at least 6 to get this to do what you want it to do. And so that's what the one that I bought says, has a sticker right on it that says minimum of, I think, 6 ground rods. It might say 5 ground rods and then the, you know, 1 for the unit. I don't know, but I'm going to put in 3 more because that makes sense to me. That's a rule that I could follow, which I never had before. I did not know why. You know, people said that all the time, but you never knew what the formula was or whatever. And that makes sense to me. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, you'd have 5 just for what you got at the fence, and then 1 for the unit. So we are going to put in 3 more ground rods before that fencer gets here, and hopefully then she will throw a spark that lights an elephant on fire. And that's what I'm after. Now, the other thing I bought, yeah, my area here I talked about last time, it's grown up with this stupid vine. And I want to just continue on my way with those ground rods so that they're out of the way. But I got to clean this up a little bit. And wouldn't you figure that my weed eater quit right about this time? I've had for the last several years a DeWalt battery-powered weed eater. And I love that thing because you could just use your tool batteries. You didn't have to have special batteries. And it would clean this vine up. If I sit here and weed eat through this vine, what it does is it just chops them up, and then basically you're only left with the main thing, and you can go around and pull that out and what have you. And like I said, that's been a nice little weed eater because I don't do a ton of weed eating. I do more spraying, you know, on stuff like fence lines. So basically the weed eating is just around buildings and the house. And I liked it, but it had its limitations. You could tell, you know, the battery would not last. When you were weed eating and heavy stuff, you wouldn't get done with what you were doing. You'd go through 2 batteries. and you couldn't keep up. What I'm saying, by the time you drain one battery, it was not the amount of time that the next battery was charged. You'd have to have 3 or 4 batteries to do that. So working off of, I really like that pole saw I bought. So I got to looking the other night at the King Rule store, and just to see different models. And they had this one, which basically has the same power head as that saw. And I thought, I like the amount of power it's got. I'm just gonna go ahead and buy one. I've always wanted a good quality straight shaft weed eater. And then I almost bought one of these several years ago, and then I went with that battery powered one just because it was a little cheaper, and I thought I liked the idea of not having to maintain another engine. But I've had pretty good luck with this Stihl stuff. I mean, it can sit for months and then go right back to it, and it's ready to go. So this is what we're going to use to try to clean up that mess. I don't like this string, but I bought different string for it. I bought like the, I don't know what you call it, diamond pattern string. The cross section is more, it's got edges is what I'm saying, and it's thicker. But we're gonna use up whatever's in here. I don't know how much it comes with. I'm not unwinding that just to do it. So, sure. It's also so cold that my hand is starting to lose all its feeling. So I don't know if this will be possible to do, but we're gonna try it. I think I have all the stuff I need in the back of the truck here, since it takes the same as the saws. So we're gonna see, hopefully this works. I might need to go in the house and get some gloves. I don't know, but this is a fresh tank of gas I just mixed the other day when I ran out in the saw, so I hope it's correct. And I just put my thumb in some snow, so that's handy. All right. Well, I hate to be a little girl about it, but I think I am going to go get some gloves, because I'm just not enjoying this, losing the feeling in my hand. So I'll go do that, and then we'll see if we can get this started and try it out. All right, we're gonna try this. We've got some bovine drama over here. A couple of those calves must have walked out again, and now they are underneath. You know, what is the odds that I can leave and I come back and a bird has crapped on this? I mean, that had to have just been now, because, or a little while ago. It's actually after my bus route right now, but that's a bunch of baloney. This is brand new, and in the time of bringing it home, sometime a bird crapped on it, because this was hanging in the store. So I don't know, friends. I just don't know anymore. We're gonna take this off because we probably don't need that. We might change our tune. We're gonna prime it up. We're gonna prime it up. We're gonna prime it up. We're not gonna prime it up, I guess. Why aren't we priming it up? Usually they start it in the store for me, like before you bring it home. He didn't do that this time, and I bet I'm gonna regret it, because I ain't getting nothing out of this old dude. This primer bulb there. Now, must have just had an airlock in it or something. Jeez. Now the other one, as in that pole saw, you You just choked it and then probably release it. Let's whack weeds in the wintertime. You know, I always called these weed eaters or weed whackers, and I guess people or string trimmers is the other name, but I guess the northern crowd calls them weed whippers. So whatever, but we're gonna see. Let's try it over here in this tangled mess. Sure. This is what we wanted to be doing in the wintertime, isn't it? Did we immediately? Okay. One side got shorter. There. I didn't think it was going to feed it out again. Fresh towel action. I can tell you right now, I don't like this string. It is probably the cheapest they make because it doesn't take anything to knock it off. Looks like we might be figuring out how to change it because it ain't feeding out again, and I'm guessing that that was just your sample amount. And now that means I'm gonna have to figure out the procedure for wrapping this one, because that's one thing I really liked about that DeWalt one. It was so simple. You didn't even have to take this out. You just you fed it through the what am I trying to say? I'm doing too many things at once. You didn't take anything apart. You could just turn it where you could see the hole through there, and then stick the long end of string through, and then just rotate it by hand until it wound it all up inside itself, and you were good to go. And that was one of the simplest ways of any. Let's see if this will go now. I guess it just balled up a little bit in there wrong. Whoever put that in didn't get her quite right. Yeah, this ain't gonna work. We're gonna have to go put our good string in and figure out why we don't have it wrapped right or something from the factory. Maybe they do that at the dealer, I don't know. But when you get used to cutting with that aggressive string, it just doesn't work. This would probably be fine for grass, but we're cutting kind of woody stuff, so sure. Let's see what we find. I mean, we know what we find because I just had it off, but see if we can figure out how to wrap it. I already tell you, I already don't like this. This is way harder to get loose than that other deal. A long time ago, the one I had was what was it, an Echo? That was a very popular brand down here for a long time, and it had a head where you just had to have the strings pre-cut and stuck them in, and that's fine, except for it caused a lot of problem where you would be breaking them all the time and you just were constantly putting new ones in. It would actually even pull them out sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out the procedure for this, because this kind of breaks my brain here. I'm sure I had one of these a long time ago, but I don't remember the... See, is that two separate bunches or is that one piece? I guess that you wind it up as two, maybe. And that's where my problem is, because they wound it inside of... They were overlapping. They didn't keep it where it needs to be, so... We'll cut off some of our good string we bought. It shows like you go the same way. Oh. Okay. Oh, 95 string, and what I got was the 105 string. So you actually use a different hole, and then it just shows you which way to wrap it on there. I don't know if you see that, but let me get some cut and we'll go from there. Heck if I know what I'm doing. So that goes in there. Maybe we know what we're doing. Maybe we don't. Oh. Am I doing the right thing? I don't think so. There's one. Oh. I bet there's a better trick to this. Are we through where we need to be? Okay, now, if I go like this, I don't think I got the top one. I hate to take that loose because it'll unspool. Maybe the spinning will take it loose, you know? And then maybe we'll be doing it again. But I do not like this style head compared to the one I just had. That was the best one I ever had. Very simple. So, sure. This may be a project for another day, too. It may just be too much for until you shear them both off. What the heck? I never had that much trouble with my other one before. That really is kind of not making me smile. They're right there, but it's not, it's sheared off flush. It probably doesn't want to do this in the cold either. Just like I don't want to be doing this in the cold. And I'm thinking we're just about done playing for today, because, yeah. Oh, that's just so stupid. Well, Stihl fans, I gotta say, I don't like this. I like the power head, I like the machine, but I hate the head. That is way, way, way difficult to get apart. Maybe it'll be easier once it gets wore out, but I don't know. What a disaster. I tell you what, right now if I could take it back and get my money back, I would, because I hate this. I mean, this is nuts. It don't want to work. I'd say that the cold had something to do with it, but it just doesn't. It's just a very poor design, I feel. Especially coming off of that other one, because that other one was a breeze. Maybe I can get that power head to put on this. Probably not. It looks proprietary, like they won't let you do that. Jeez, I hate this. The problem I see with it is that they're not, what do I want to say? When you lock them in, they're too far apart. That doesn't work that way. Okay, let's do one at a time, and I'll try to explain what I'm talking about. So this one, let's say we wrap it around here. And it actually tells you the size. So 105 is the line size I got. So that's locked in there now. But the next one then we would use would be this size, this side. And a minute ago I did not have very good luck with okay, let's take a look here. I got to use the correct hole. There's an arrow. Tells you how to wrap it, but they give you a nice little cutout thing to not have to. Maybe this line is the problem because of its shape. Maybe it's not the preferred method of stuff, but I don't know. We'll try it again if we can feel our hand, because it's pretty cold out here to be doing yard work. It's the nonsense I do to keep having videos for you. Next week it'll be in the 40s, and that'll feel like a heat wave. I don't know if I'll be able to stand it or not. That's why I like the power head, because the saw is the same way. One pull and it fires right up. Let's go over this way. We already lost one string. God dang it. Why is it doing this? I don't know. I'm ready to take her back, boys. I don't have time to be doing this all day. You'd never ever get anything done if you're constantly replacing the same string. I mean, that's nuts. I can't push in these tabs, which might be because of the cold, but this time, what did it do? Not unspool? Well, now it did, so now I got to start all over. This time it's the bottom one. Maybe. Did it come all the way out? Or what's happening? Why is that? That's the spool from the other side that has jumped around out of its channel. And well, so far my recommendation is do not buy this unless you can get a different head for it, because this is stupid. Okay, fifth time is a charm, maybe? I don't know. If it won't self unspool the string, I haven't got a lot of love for this. Right away. Not even up to speed, and it has sheared off the string. I just don't know. I love the Stihl products, but I don't love this one. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. There's nothing in the owner's book about this, and there's no reason why this string shouldn't uncoil. I'm doing everything like it said. I'm following the instructions. I think we're just about ready to put this away, but we really need to get this done because I want to get those other ground rods put in there, and I don't want this trash here. That's the whole point of why I did what I did. Look at that mess. I mean, I hate it, friends. I hate it. I don't know. Don't know why it's not working. It works one time, and then it won't. Then it won't unspool. 14th time's a charm. What if I go like that and lay that in there? No, see, that's still not gonna do. We'll try it again for the 12th time or whatever we're up to, 15, I don't know. My beef is a battery powered one was doing this same job and worked great. So why will this expensive gas powered one not do it? You can't tell me that it's because it's not made for it. Well, like I said, I hate this. I'm gonna have to figure out if they make a better end for it, because this is trash. I mean, I'm not running like this. My battery powered one would work all day long, no problem, and this thing doesn't want to work. So I guess I'll find out what I can do to make it better. I might have to go buy another battery powered one so I can finish this what I want to do. I mean, you would think that a $600 gas one would do it, but I guess not. Maybe it's because there's snow on it, you know. Maybe that's the only reason why it's not working. But this sure don't go. So I don't know what to tell you. We'll just have to continue this another time. Like I said, when it's winter, I'm pretty well over it right out of the box. So anytime there's a frustration like this, I'm gonna go in the house, because I'm getting ready to wrap this around this fence post as hard as I can swing it, and that would be foolishness. So it's time to just leave it alone. So that's where we're gonna leave this one, and we accomplished nothing, but what else is new? That's just the way it is. All right, friends, I've been sitting here in the heat watching videos, trying to figure out why I couldn't get this to go. And I didn't find any definitive reason why. I was doing it pretty well, just like what they said. One guy said that this centerpiece would lock in there, like hook under these silver things, but it won't do it if you're using the 105 line, because there's not a thing there. There would be if you're using the 95 line. So I got it this time where I feel this is as good as it can be. So if it doesn't work doing this, then I'm done with this trimmer head. It's already way more difficult. It took way more time to feed that line in than the other one. And watching some of those videos, I think what I have on that other one that came with it from DeWalt is called a speed feed. So if I can get one of those that fits this, then we might have something. But so far, this is garbage. I do not like this. Let's see what this does for us. I like how these start. Here's what I'm fighting, friends. I got this much out of there and it will not unspool more for some reason. Why is that? If I pull on it, I got a little bit more, but it won't do it on its own. Now, it should never do that though. I should be able to just tap it and get it to come out of it. All right, it's the next day. It's like 10 degrees warmer and it feels like a heat wave, but I've had some time to work on this in my brain, and I got some more information for you, because I thought, how can I be so stupid that I can't get this thing to work? And I watched some videos online, and I think it has a good explanation as any as to why. When they made this, I don't think that they ever tested it with the 105 line. I watched a video from a Stihl dealer, and he's, you know, when this came out, this new updated head or whatever, and he said, oh, this is the greatest. All you got to do is push these tabs and it comes out, you know. Well, then like 3 or 4 videos later, it might have been more than that on his channel, he had a video where like, are you guys all having trouble with this head? Because I figured out the reason why and this. So other people must have been complaining about it too, and it was for the same reason. It would have been people who are using 105 line. Let me get this out of here and I'll try to explain what's going on so that it makes sense, because this is just nuts. I do think that well, let's get this pulled out of here first, then I'll tell you what I think. I do think that part of the trouble is when if these wear in a little bit, it would probably work so much better with this thicker line. But when I was winding this up, I was using the notches that said 105, because you see how that notch says 105 and then this other notch says 95. So when I was doing my winding around and then hooking it in there like this, if I can just for sample, well, this one's out, so let's just see if we can pull that away. All right, so you're supposed to be able to wind them up in there. You clip them in to here, which now it doesn't want to hold at all, but you clip them into there, and then when you put this in to the head, you're supposed to be able to push this up and like lock it underneath of here so that it helps you, if I can get it to do that. But when I did it with this, look at how far away it is from that. Okay, there's the problem. I think they engineered it wrong, and that's what that guy said too. If you did it with the 95 spot, let me try to get it to that. Come on. Yeah, if you get it, hook it in the 95 spot up in there so it holds it, look at that. It puts the line right in line with this notch, and then when you put the cap on, you could pull the string and it was fine. So somewhere along the line, they messed up the spacing of these tabs where it does not put it in line for you when you do the 105 thickness line. And I don't think that this is big enough notch. Maybe it would be. I don't think so though. It's gonna fight. But if I had that, look at that, then you could get it where it's in line and then pull through and it would go right in like it's supposed to. So that was part of my trouble with the loading, that it wasn't working. But I fixed that. I ordered a Echo Speed feed head like I had before, and that's gonna be what goes on here, because that is probably the favorite that I've ever had of any of them. I didn't mind that one where you had to have the pre-cut strings, but it seemed like you were always adding some. The bump feed's nice, but the speed feed thing, I never had any trouble with that, so I got that coming for it. The second problem, I'm afraid that either the factory or the dealer, whoever's responsibility it was, I don't think it was mine, I don't know that they really greased this enough, because yesterday it acted like it was kind of smoking in there. And I hope I didn't destroy anything, but you're supposed to be able to take this out and thread in a grease tube and squeeze it. So I'm gonna have to get some of that lube before we use it again. And when we put that speed feed head on, I'm gonna make sure that it's got grease in it after that, you know. But I still don't like this design. I feel like this is a step backwards. They should have just paid for the license and got the rights to be able to do that speed feed thing, because that is, if you're doing a lot, I mean, that's the way to go. I just really like the speed feed. Maybe if you did this all day, you'd get used to it and like it, but I feel like from having the other one, that's a step backwards. And if I can get that fixed, then I think I got something, because I really like the power head, and I like the weight and the balance and everything else about using it. I just don't like that head. And so not all of the fault was mine, I guess, is the moral of the story. I'm not as dumb as I thought. It really was made not quite right. And so, yeah, but we're gonna solve that problem by replacing it with something else. So we'll revisit this later, and that's where we're gonna leave this one. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.